as we speak, somebody coming out of a relationship that tore them apart. Now they stronger. Right now, somebody coming out of financial debt and they finally able to execute on their dreams, execute on their passions, right? Right now, somebody is finally becoming a better version of themselves that they always destined to be. So when I tell you that you could be a better version of yourself, I don't mean that there's nothing wrong with you. I don't mean that. I just mean that you can actually be better than what you is right now.
Look, I don't know who needs to hear this, but welcome back to another episode of The Real, The Raw, The Truth. I'm your host, Meech Speaks. Let's go ahead and get into today's episode. All right, so I got a couple of things that I need to address before we start today's episode. First things first, welcome back after this long holiday. I hope everybody's Thanksgiving was Thanksgiving in a pandemic was definitely shitty. And ooh. You could tell I'm getting real comfortable. I just fucking coughed on air. I apologize. But Thanksgiving during a pandemic was shitty. I hope everybody was able to make the best of that. You know what I mean? Speaking of making the best of it, I know for a fact y'all listened to Thanksgiving 101 because that episode was, if you haven't listened to Thanksgiving 101, you're definitely playing yourself. If you want to get a visual aspect of it, don't forget to head over to my Instagram. You already know, Meech Speaks, and tap into the IGTV because we definitely did a live episode for that. Now that we covered Thanksgiving in a pandemic, let's go ahead. Stop taking pictures of y'all food. Okay, I'm going to just be 100%. Some of y'all can't cook, and the fact that y'all took pictures of it is like y'all committed a murder, and then y'all took a picture and posted it. Like, we didn't need to see that. Anyways, this right here, it kind of warms my heart a little bit. When I say it kind of warms my heart, I just want to just say, and for those who don't understand, like if you got Spotify, you probably didn't realize that Spotify is doing the whole 2020 Wrapped. And with the 2020 Wrapped, like it shows like your songs and, you know, just all the shit that you've been doing, like, you know, that was been helping you get through it and the music that you've been listening to during 2020. And for those who don't know, it also has a podcast feature. You know, I just really want to just take a moment and just say thank you. Thank you to anybody who has listened to the episodes. Thank you to anybody, because it was crazy because people were sending me like their stories and their raps. And the shows mentioned, you know, The Real, The Raw, The Truth, Demetrius Thigpen, you know, and they're sending it to me like, hey, I watched 6 episodes. Hey, I watched, 10 episodes. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but even for me, I can't even listen to 6 episodes of a podcast. You feel me? I think the most I ever listened to was 6 when I was driving from California to here. You feel me? Because it was just me, the car, and the weather of fucking Arkansas. So I really just want to say, like, if you sat down and listened to 6 straight episodes of me speaking, man, we friends. We best friends. We really tapped in. And I say that, and one thing that I realized throughout all of this is that I will never not be surprised by people supporting me. And I don't know how people get, so caught up in that. The whole idea of, yeah, they support me. Like, I will always be blown away by that. Because, and this is one thing, and I always approach it with such a sense of gratitude, is because nobody doesn't have to support me. The same way that they started supporting me, they can stop supporting me. So I just really want to just take a moment that whether you've been supporting me in the beginning, whether you've been supporting me in the middle, hell, whether you just now listening to me on this episode, thank you for taking time out to listen to me. And I hope this message resonates. Now, let's get into the last one. And I feel like this last one is definitely going to be a powerful segue into this episode today. I'm officially 30. Damn. I'm officially 30. I ain't, somebody told me 30s are the new 20, so I'm trying to keep a positive mindset about that. But, a couple of things, to be honest with you, I'm definitely blessed. I'm blessed and thankful that I still have all my hair by the time I made it to 30. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful to be alive at 30. You know what I mean? Because shit, man, it's just a struggle just to make it to 25 nowadays. So I'm blessed and I'm thankful that I was able to make it to 30, and I'm blessed and thankful for all the things I accomplished at 30. I mean, let's just be frank here. Marine, leader, father, podcaster, author. You feel me? Like I did some, speaker, you know, I did some things. So I'm definitely blessed. And you know what, man? I'm just going to be 100% honest with you, man. Like, this fucking trip, dude, has been kicking my ass. For real. You know, and I say not trip, man. I'm going to just say this move has really kicked my ass mentally and emotionally. And can I just be 100% transparent, like 100% honest with you? And I know I talked a lot of shit about it, but I do miss California. Now, I don't miss the state in a sense. I don't miss the weather. I told y'all, I don't give a fuck about that. I miss the people. I miss the people. I miss the love. Turning 30 this year really hit me differently. Not because I turned 30, but I turned 30 by myself. And once again, this isn't, woe is Meech, but I turned 18 when I was in boot camp. And even though I turned 18 in boot camp, I didn't feel alone. You know what I mean? I didn't feel alone. I had my rack mate. Everybody around me was going through the exact same type of fucking misery I was going through. And to be honest with you, the only reason why I even knew that today was my birthday, I actually found out it was my birthday like 2 days after my birthday. So I missed my own birthday. If you remember what it's like to be a recruit, you understand that there wasn't no calendars or fucking watches around me. So I lost the concept of fucking night and day a long time ago. I turned 22 on a deployment. Once again, even then, it wasn't bad. To be honest with you, it wasn't bad. I had my Marines. At the time, we was expecting my first child. So like I had other shit to really worry about. And I remember that day because, people really like tapped in with me and they sung happy birthday for me and shit like that. So I was in Afghanistan when I turned 22. But 30? And once again, this isn't a woe is Meech episode. No, it's not. But fuck, man, like you move across the country, all your friends, they're in a different state. It does suck. And I ain't about to hold you up. Like on my 30th birthday, I got into it. I was arguing with family and friends and shit like that, on the day that I felt like I should be praised and being blessed on, thanking God of the day that I was born. I just wasn't feeling it. Like, to be honest with you, on my birthday, I really just wanted to crawl in bed and just try it again the next day. I'm going to just be 100% honest with you. I had never felt so fucking alone. Like, and you go on social media, everybody like, happy birthday, Meech, happy birthday. And I really want to take a moment right here and just say that just because something is going on social media, man, like tap into your people because fuck. They be going through it. And I can't stress that this ain't a woe is me episode, but I think it's just the overall change and the overall growth that I'm going through. You know what I mean? And I'm glad that it's happening and I'm glad that I'm able to document it because I would love to go back to this episode a couple of months later and just be like, damn, like we was really going through it. Plus, the model with it is that the chapter that you're closing is a chapter to somebody else. Cause I know that somebody else is going to go through it. I know. But for those who don't know, recently, when we first started this podcast, I did an episode called Alone versus Being Alone. And I don't know why the fuck it took me so long to get back to that episode again. But to be honest with you, 2020, I probably couldn't have done that episode. You know what I mean? Like 2020, I knew for a fact I couldn't talk to you about being alone again. Like 2020, like before now, I wouldn't have had no place because I didn't feel alone. Y'all would see me, I'm with R Active on a regular basis. Y'all would see me, I'm with somebody, I'm at some type of event, I'm with people, I'm okay. And it's not necessarily just being with people. I'm not alone. So I come on this episode a lot more transparent. I come on this episode because a lot more honest. Because yeah, I may feel alone, but how many others are too? Because last time I fucking checked, ain't we in a fucking pandemic? You see what I'm saying? Like, and although we socially distance from other people, I think like the hardest part is because we can't even socially distance from ourselves. And for those who don't understand what it is that, there's a big difference between being alone and feeling alone. You know what I mean? Like you could be alone. Like being alone is like a physical state. I've been alone in so many occasions. Like if you was with me downtown San Diego, you know exactly what I've been alone. Trust me. Ain't nothing wrong with being alone. In fact, I like to experience certain things by myself. If I want to go to the beach, I'll go to the beach by myself. And the reason why is I don't mind going with people, but if I want to just catch a vibe and relax, I like to go by myself. If I want to, because a lot of people know that I'm a big nerd, so I've been to Comic Cons by myself. And sometimes I just want to just sit back, listen to music by myself because I just feel things differently. And one thing I will say is that when you can do that, that's a certain power that you have. And I've talked about it in the last episode, power in isolation. And I'll hit it again. I'll hit that again. But feeling alone, that's an emotional thing. You could be in a room full of people and feel alone. I tend to try to steer away from a lot of heavy topics such as politics and race. But 2020, I'll be fucking lying if I didn't feel alone in 2020, to be honest with you. Like with all the racial tension, especially with Black Lives Matter, especially with George Floyd, especially with, the sexual assaults and, just the overall rise of MSTs within the military, there were moments where I was feeling alone. I remember when the first situation with George Floyd happened, and as everybody was talking about it, I felt alone because I felt like nobody could really understand how I felt about it. You know what I mean? I feel like, and this is shit, honestly, this is something I've always felt within the military in general, especially when you're outside of your culture, outside of your race. A lot of times you feel alone because, shit, like you don't understand where I'm coming from. You don't understand how I feel about something. You don't understand me. And I feel like the moment that I tell you how I feel, I'm just going to be even more isolated towards it. I also developed a certain level of transparency and understanding that the same way that I felt alone when it came down to race, imagine how, a woman must felt being around a whole bunch of men and she didn't agree with certain things. So it taught me, 2020 definitely taught me two different types of feelings of loneliness. It definitely did. And, just to switch gears a little bit, we've all probably have felt that before. We've all felt it before, especially if you're in the military. You probably got promoted and you know exactly what I'm talking about. As soon as you get promoted, you can't really fuck with the people that ain't got promoted with you. You probably got promoted to corporal. Your family and friends, they probably less than, them family and friends. Your friends are probably a lower rank than you are. You probably got promoted to sergeant. Hell, I just recently got promoted. And the problem when you get promoted is that you can't really associate yourself with the people that you used to fuck with at your job because, you want to keep up that professional aspect. But the thing is that the people that are your rank, you don't fuck with them. So now here you are in a room full of people that you really don't want to fuck with, but you can't even hang out with your peoples. Maybe you didn't get promoted though. Maybe you moved. And as you sit here across the country in a different fucking time zone and you trying to navigate between, the appropriate times to call each other, because if you call them right now at 6 o'clock in the morning, it's 3 o'clock over there. Let me rephrase that. If they tried to call you at 2 o'clock, it's 5 o'clock here, or, just trying to get in touch with each other because, you really miss them. Shit fucking sucks. Because deep down, you away. You probably was in Japan for X amount of years and you spent $2,000 just to fly back home. And as you sit in that living room full of your family and friends that you once knew and swore up and down that you would still have, you just don't feel like you belong there. And now you watch everybody through Facebook and social media have the time of their lives. Meanwhile, you just feel like you don't belong anywhere. Maybe, and I like this one right here because, I'm always talking about growth, and I feel like I had to feel this. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I had to feel this because I sit back and I talk about it a lot. You got to go through it to grow through it. In order to get to that next level, you got to go through it. You know what I'm talking about? But the thing that we don't talk about enough is what it feels like when you're going through it. Like, say, for example, you said that you want to make a better change for yourself. So in order to make a better change for yourself, you got to cut off the things that ain't making a better change for you. So with that being said, you had to cut those people out, the ones that you had since 2007, 2008, 2018, 2019. You got them out of your life because they wasn't doing anything for you. You were saying, hey, man, you were still doing the exact same thing that you were doing last year. You got to go. Hey, man, you still doing that exact same type of bullshit. You got to go. You cutting off people that just don't have no benefit for you. You cutting off people that have been holding you back. And as you cut them off, you feel liberated. You feel good. But we don't talk enough about how you feel when ain't nobody else around and it's just you. You sitting there alone in your own thoughts. And we live in a society where, we have this feeling of being left out. Nobody wants to feel like they're being left out. And as I create this episode right now, you a fucking liar if you think that humans weren't made to be with each other. You a fucking liar. You a liar if you think right now that humans can handle being alone, but we're not made to be alone. We're social creatures. For you religious type, God wouldn't have used that rib to create Eve if we wasn't meant to have people in our lives. For you that ain't, just been pervious to just everything that's been going on. People wouldn't have been going stir crazy with all this social distancing and isolation and lockdowns if we weren't made to be social creatures. Like we made for that. So now as you cut all those people that you said weren't good for you, you sitting there by yourself. But the problem is that you still got your social medias. And you're seeing everybody having a good time. And, we always talk about rising to the occasion. You know what I'm talking about? We always talk about rise to the occasion. But I don't think a lot of people know what rise to the occasion. Let me rephrase. I don't think I knew what rise to the occasion was when I first said it. Because for those who do not understand, when you rise to the occasion, I need you to understand that shit hit the fucking fan. Like, when you rise to the occasion, you need to understand that in order to display some form of courage, you need to be scared. That's how you display courage. So in order to rise to the occasion, that means that you've been knocked down. You got beat the fuck up. You're not rising to the occasion right off the jump. You rising to the occasion through adversity. But the thing is that through adversity, a lot of times we revert back to our training. And Inky Johnson, he said it before, a lot of times through an opposition and adversity, we tend to revert back to our training. And I know for us military type, we think like, oh shit, we're reverting back to our training, we're going back to the muscle memory. No, what I'm referring to is that you were reverting back to the person that you were before that adversity and opposition hit you. That's who you're reverting back to. Like through tough times. And this is why they say like tough times make tough people. And you got to go through the process. You got to go through it to grow through it type of shit. Because during these type of moments right here where you revert back, see, the thing is that during this opposition to adversity where you said that you was going to cut everybody off. See, the problem is that although you cut everybody off and now you sitting here alone in the room with your own fucking thoughts, you don't want to be left alone with that. See, you don't want to be left alone around. You don't want to feel like you missing out. Like, I'm going to just be 100%. Being alone, feeling alone sucks. It sucks. So we try to do things to compensate for it. We start calling people up. Hey, how you doing? X, Y, and Z. We just need some communication. See, the problem is that as soon as that adversity and opposition happens, rather than grow through it, you try to you just survive and you ain't thriving. And the problem is that when you survive instead of thriving through a situation, see, the thing is about surviving, you will do anything to survive. And what I mean by that, you probably around people, you just compromising who you are just for the sake that you could just be around fucking people. You know what I mean? Laughing at jokes that you don't fucking want to be, hanging around people that you don't, hey, can I hang up? No, because you're just tired of being alone. Through adversity and opposition is the only way that you're going to grow. And yes, this fucking sucks. And I'm going to tell you right now, because I'm in it right now with you. Whether it's the pandemic, whether it's just through growth, whether it's through a life-changing event, whether it's a fucking move, I'm in it with you. It sucks. I don't know who needs to hear this, but you probably came back from a deployment, and after spending 6 months to a year out there getting used to a certain routine, you come back home and everybody just ain't looking at you the same way that you was before you left, or they thinking that you are the person that you were before you left. But the thing is that you can't erase experience. You can't erase growth. So now they just ain't fucking with the person that you are right now. And that shit breaks your heart when you hear somebody that you care about and you love and you got respect for, and they tell you that I don't even know who you are anymore. And it hurts because you looking at them like, I know who I am. I know who I am, and I love who I am. Why can't you love who I am? Why don't you want me now? And in your desperate attempt to not lose them, you revert back, or let me rephrase, you try to revert back to who you were before you made these changes. But the problem is, and this is one thing that I need people to understand about growth, is that when you grow mentally and emotionally, imagine like getting too big for a set of clothes. They just won't fit right. So even though you try to pretend to be the person that you used to be, it just won't fit right. You will know it and they'll know it. So rather than squeeze into something that's just too small, you just choose to just stay the size that you are right now. I'm going to just be 100%. Being alone sucks, man. Like feeling alone sucks. But you got to get used to it. You feel me? You got to get used to it. Like I said it before in the last episode, but I'm definitely, I feel like I got a leg to stand on in this one though. That there's power in isolation. That really the only person that you need is you. And in order for you to attract the people that you want in your life, you actually have to be the person that you want in your life. I'm going to say that again real quick because, see, the thing is that we tend to attract everybody in our lives, but we don't need everybody in our lives. So if you want to attract the right person in your life, you have to learn to be the right person in your life. And the only way that you can do that is through the power of isolation. You got to get comfortable with you. You got to heal you. You got to love you. I mean, fuck, man, it's going to suck. You probably sitting out due to a physical situation and you just like, damn, I wish I could be with everybody. You got to be patient. Everybody probably in a different state or somewhere around. You got to get comfortable where you're at. Stop complaining about where the fuck you're at right now and start thriving in it. Stop surviving, start thriving. Because I can tell you right now, you can't go back. You might be around a group of people that you have never met. See, I need you to understand that there's a certain level of patience that you need to have right now. They don't fucking know you. They know of you. They don't know you. You have to get used to being you. Don't try to be who you want them now. Don't try to make up this person that you think they want you to be. Be you. Be you. Be you. And just like that, another extraordinary thought left this ordinary mind. I hope you enjoyed this episode half as much as I enjoyed making it. Stay tuned Mondays and Fridays. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Meech Speaks. Once again, that's Meech Speaks. Meech is spelled Meech. Don't forget to share this podcast, subscribe to this podcast, follow this podcast, pass this podcast to somebody, because this podcast was dedicated to helping everyone become a better version of themselves. Even though I don't know what that type of version is, I just know that you can be better. Lastly, don't forget to grab your copy of The Extraordinary Thought from the Ordinary Mind, available on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles. I think there's an electrical copy. You know what it is. Stay hungry, stay motivated. I'm out.